Hiya. So I thought I'd just for your interest give a little bit of reflection on the weirdness of having cancer and going through chemotherapy. I mean, normally the kind of stereotype of people having chemotherapy is pictures of people looking sorry for themselves, strapped to pumps and tubes, feeling sick and whatever in hospital. And don't get me wrong, a week ago that was me. I was in hospital for must have been 4 or 5 days, and most of the time I was strapped to pumps, feeling sorry for myself, feeling a bit sick. And I went home, felt a bit sick for a bit longer. But I guess the weirdness of it, part of it, is that a few days later, maybe a week later, you can be feeling fine, and you come out and you walk the dogs, just like you always have, and it's as if nothing's going on. And yet I still can't go about normal life. I can't go into an office, I can't go to church, I can't go to crowded places really, can't eat certain foods because of the risk of infection. And infection risk is probably the biggest thing, and it's the unseen thing that's the issue with having chemo. And the biggest thing about it is I can feel fine, absolutely normal. And yet I had a blood test was it yesterday, and I got told my neutrophils were 0. Basically means none of that type of white cell. That's the first responder white cell in terms of infection. Basically means that if some bacteria decides to take an interest in me, I go down. I get infection, I get diarrhea, I get a temperature, a fever, and there's nothing there to fight it. And that's the really scary bit about having chemo. That I could be fine now. By the end of the day, I could be in hospital on antibiotics. It's weird, really is, and a bit scary. And you have to kind of put it to the back of your mind and just be sensible. Do what you can, and keep putting one foot in front of the other. Keep smiling, keep going, and just have that sort of risk awareness in mind. So anyway, that's a few thoughts from me. Interesting to see if anybody else who's had cancer and chemotherapy feels the same about that kind of weirdness. Because if you bumped into me in the forest, you wouldn't think that I was having chemo. And you probably, if I did say that, you'd probably think, oh, why aren't you at work? Chemo's not that big a thing then. But I can assure you it is. Anyway, that's my thoughts for the day. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak soon. Bye.